Hello, friendos and bendos. It's me, Z, and today is a glorious, glorious day because finally, we got more reveals about the Ben 10 comic. We even know finally when it's coming out. It's May 6th of this year, okay? And I am so excited. This book is going to be the return of the Ben 10 franchise after the reboot, and it's looking so cool. I want to talk about everything we know so far. It's going to be written by different members of Man of Action each arc, and the artist is going to be Robert Carey. I don't know if Robert Carey will change with each writer. Who knows? I mean, comics change artists all the time, but hopefully Carey will be the main artist because oh my god, this cover looks so cool, and I just want to talk about it. This first arc is also going to be written by Joe Casey, by the way. I also want to mention that. So, oh my god, there's so much to talk about. In both all the information and the covers revealed, a few textless preview pages, and some information as well at the Dynamite presentation. So, first of all, I just want to say that it was confirmed by Robert Carey that the designs in his cover, which is this cover, are the final designs, okay? Because there were some variant covers revealed as well, and some of those variant covers have different designs for the aliens. And, that's a thing that happens, especially, because designs aren't finalized. Duncan Rouleau said that himself on Twitter as well. But Robert Carey was saying himself personally that these are now the finalized designs, is what I really wanted to know before I committed to making this video, because I didn't want to, make assumptions based on things that weren't finalized. But knowing that this cover is the finalized designs, super fucking cool. I'm going to talk about that a lot, but first of all, I'm going to talk about just what we know about the plot. So essentially, this will be a retelling of the Ben 10 mythos. It's a reboot, of course. From these preview pages we see that Ben, Grandpa Max, who I love the design of, by the way, and Gwen, they're all in the campsite. Got Sumo Samurai cards right here in the top left. Super cool, and it's essentially just episode 1 of the original series. Ben, Gwen, Grandpa Max are camping. Ben wanders off and he sees the Omnitrix start landing on Earth. But there is one thing we really need to talk about, and it's this guy, this military guy, in the Dynamite presentation that they gave, and I'll give all the information in the description below. I'll link to a CBR article, but in the presentation, we also learned that the military is going to be sort of involved in this new Ben 10 continuity, which I think is really cool. I think that how the government responded to Ben and the aliens, I think that wasn't as expanded on as it could have been. I remember Framed was really kind of the only well, I mean, the plumbers in the original series were also part of the government. They were like a part of the government, but then, Alien Force made them intergalactic, and then, they tried to bring it all together. But I mean, aside from the plumbers, the rest of the government, like the whole government intrigue thing, that was never really a thing in Ben 10. I'm very intrigued on what that could mean, will the military be hunting Ben down? Will there be different factions? Will the plumbers be one faction who know about aliens, but then there's the other military faction that doesn't? I'm super interested in that. But, of course, the real things you want to know are my thoughts on the character designs of the aliens and the roster that they chose. So, the roster that they chose is the reboot roster. Forearms, Wildvine, Upgrade, Cannonbolt, Stinkfly, Heat Blast, Accelerate, Gray Matter, Overflow, and Diamond Head. And obviously, a lot of thought probably went into choosing this roster. The same way that a lot of thought probably went into choosing the reboots roster. I mean, this is Ben 10, alright? The original 10 aliens of any Ben 10 continuity is going to be so important. And I'm sure they went through tons and tons of examples. Maybe they thought the original 10, maybe they thought the Alien Force 10, maybe they thought a mix of aliens from all over the franchise, but they settled on the reboot 10, and I'm actually good with this. I'm actually good with this because it makes sense, alright? The reboot 10, I think it works because the aliens of the original 10 that were replaced, I think got replaced. I think the ones they chose to be replaced were good, and I think they chose good replacements for them as well. They replaced Ripjaws with Overflow, Ghost Freak with Cannonbolt, and Wildmutt with Wildvine. And I think all of those were good choices. Reason being, Ripjaws, the problem with Ripjaws, while I love him, in the original series, Ripjaws did not get a lot of uses because he was only useful in water. Overflow on the other hand, can swim in water, he can breathe underwater, but he can also perfectly operate on land, and he has things other than, his bites, he can shoot water. That makes Overflow instantly, like, better to use in like a creative sense than Ripjaws, because Ripjaws, you have to build an episode around him, and to decide, okay, we're doing a water episode, we're doing the Kraken, we're doing They Lurk Below, we're doing Gone Fishing, you know what I mean? But Overflow, you can just say, fuck it, we want Overflow in this episode. Sorry about the stuttering. I'm just so excited sorry about the stuttering. But Overflow, you can just say, hey, I want Overflow in this episode, let's go Overflow. Ghost Freak, meanwhile, replacing with Cannonball makes a lot of sense, because the thing about Ghost Freak is that instantly when you introduce Ghost Freak, people are going to say, okay, are you going to do Scare? Are you going to do Ghost Freak escaping from the Omnitrix? That's not necessarily something you want to do in a brand new continuity, because that's already tons of baggage. Alright, the rest of these aliens, they don't really have any baggage with them. But Ghost Freak, you have Ghost Freak, he's immediately linked to Scare. And finally, Wildmutt. While I like Wildmutt a lot, I think out of the original 10, he's the worst in terms of, like, usefulness. What I mean by that is, Forearms is the strong one, Grandmaster is the smart one, Upgrade is the technical one, Heat Blast is the fire one, Diamond Head is the earth one, Accelerate is the flying one, is the speedy one, Stinkfly is the flying one, Ghost Freak is the sneaky one, you can go intangible, go invisible, and Ripjaws is the water one. Wildmutt was kind of, I guess, the sensing one, like he could sense things with his enhanced sense of smell and stuff, but I feel like overall that gives less of a, because aside from that, he's like decently fast and decently strong, but we kind of already have Accelerate and Forearms and Diamond Head for that, so I understand replacing Wildmutt with Wildvine. But personally, would I have gone with this exact roster? No, I would not. If you want my opinion, I probably would have gone Wrath instead of Ghost Freak, and then I would have gone Feedback instead of Wildmutt, and I would have gone Arctiguana instead of Ripjaws, and I would have made Arctiguana able to swim and breathe underwater. He might already be able to do that, I'm not sure. I was gonna say I love Arctiguana, but then me saying that I don't know if he can breathe underwater, that kind of makes it sound like bullshit, but I swear it's not. I really love Arctiguana. I think that it just makes a better roster, because Wrath and Feedback are non-original series aliens, and obviously Overflow is a non-original series alien as well, but like, it's different for him because he was a brand new alien entirely, alright? But like, Wrath and Feedback are legacy aliens, and then Arctiguana I also just find him really cool, and I think he could have been pretty interesting, and I just fuck with him more than I do Overflow. But yeah, but I still do think that this roster was a good idea, and I want to talk about the designs. I want to talk about the designs of these aliens, and I want to talk about them as well as the variant covers. The variant covers also have very different designs, and like I said earlier, Robert Carey confirmed that his designs are the final designs, but I want to talk about if I prefer any of the variant cover designs over the original design, or the official designs. So let's go through each of the aliens. Forearms, it's Forearms. Like, he looks just like original series Forearms, just like more realistic. But Duncan Rouleau's design, it's a mix of the original series design, but it also has this cloak, which I think is actually really cool. And I also like the emphasis on his teeth, because that's the thing about Forearms in pretty much all the series except Omniverse. Like, his teeth were genuinely like a significant part of his character design. Like, obviously he's red and he has 4 eyes and 4 arms, but he also had like pretty prominent teeth, like pretty prominent, big and sharp canines, and I really like that emphasis here. But overall, I'm perfectly cool with Carey's design. They're not that different. It's really hard to redesign Forearms because he's kind of, I don't want to say perfect, but like the concept of him, they kind of got it right the first time. Well, they probably went through a lot of designs before they came up with the final Forearms design, but the final Forearms design that they came up with for the original series, magnifique, you know what I mean? Next up, Diamond Head. We don't see Diamond Head's bottom half in either of these. Well, we kind of see one of his legs, but pretty much Diamond Head is the same in both of them, and he doesn't wear a shirt. From what we can see, Diamond Head does not wear a shirt, and that's fine. I mean, he didn't wear a shirt in Alien Force, though I think that Alien Force kind of fixed it a bit because he had the chromostone like purple rocks, which I think helped to break up the character design. Like him being this monotone crystal blue, it kind of sucks. Hopefully, he does have like some like shorts on or whatever to like give some break to his design. Because if he's just like a giant crystal man, I think that could be a little boring character design wise. But it's still Diamond Head. I mean, come on, it's Diamond Head. He's cool as hell. Next up on the right of forearms is Wild Vine. Wild Vine in both the Duncan Rouleau variant cover and the Canet variant cover, he has one eye, and honestly, I prefer Wild Vine with one eye. In the official cover, you can't really see, like, but if you zoom in, he has two eyes. I'm not really fucking with two eyes for Wild Vine. I feel like one eye is, like, kind of iconic for him, and it's just, I don't know, I prefer the one eye. I kind of also prefer Wild Vine being more skinny, like, him being very bulky in this one. I don't know, I feel like there could have been something different done with that, because I feel like a few of these aliens are a little too bulky, you know what I mean? And Wildvine just doesn't scream bulky to me, but I also understand, making him bulkier, because, it's Wildvine, you kind of make him a force, like, make him bigger, you kind of have that overgrowing vibe, you know what I mean? So I'm fine with this Wildvine design, but I think the Reload design I actually prefer. It just looks really fucking cool. Also, I have Absolute Poison Ivy on the brain, and it reminds me more of Absolute Poison Ivy. Actually, both of these designs do. Pretty cool. Overflow. Overflow, I think I prefer the new design because the Reload design is very much like Reboot Overflow, but this new Overflow design is like almost a complete rehaul, making it much more bulky and mechanical. I think it works for Overflow because Overflow in the reboot, while he looked okay, he looks like a water hazard, but different. But the reason Overflow, I think he didn't work as well for me in the reboot design was because he just felt a little bit more like a plastic toy. Like, obviously, the reason that they did a lot of things in the reboot, original 10 for the reboot was because they wanted to make toys, Obviously, I said earlier that Wildmutt, he wasn't used because his powers are a little less exciting than the other ones, but also because Wildmutt, like, they admitted themselves, didn't really sell as much toys, especially because he wasn't bipedal. That's the same reason they made Stinkfly bipedal in the reboot. And I think Overflow was very toy-like in the reboot, so I'm glad that they've made him really, like, veiny and, like, wiry and mechanical. It's very cool. I really like it. He also seems to have, like, multiple eyes, which I also really like. Upgrade. Upgrade's my favorite alien from Ben 10. I like this. Obviously, it's Upgrade. I like his design, but I think he's a little too bulky. Again, some of these designs are a little too bulky, and it's a little weird, but I still do like Upgrade. However, the Reload design, I think I kind of prefer. You kind of can't see him. He's on the left, like, his head is next to Ben. He has the white eye. He's purple, like in the reboot. I did quite like purple Upgrade from the reboot. I think either the purple and the green are cool, and I think I prefer Reload's design simply because he's a lot skinnier, it's a lot freakier, a lot alien. I feel like this bulky Upgrade, not really my kind of thing, but again, it's Upgrade, I love him. Gray Matter, I prefer Carrie's Gray Matter because, simply put, not Casey, Reload's Gray Matter, his eyes being connected freaks me the fuck out. It freaks me the fuck out, and I don't like it. And he also has two brains, it seems, like a brain that's like bulging, and also his head looks like a ball sack. I don't like it. I'm sorry. I hate off the cuff videos like this because I feel like I'm chatting nonsense. But I do really like Gray Matter's design. I like how he really just looks like the original, but like more realistic, and I like that. I like how his brain is like bulging, but he doesn't look like a ball sack. He looks like more like his brain's just like so big. It's like rumbling underneath his skull. I like it. Next up, we have Cannonbolt, and this is a weird one because Cannonbolt is kind of skinnier than he usually is. Like, he's kind of a bit, like, his waist is a little snatched, and he also has, like, these little metal, like, I want to say metal bits, like, that you can see on, like, between the black lines in his shoulder. Like, hopefully my mouse works. Like, here, it's kind of metallic, but I'm quite fine with it. Honestly, my biggest problem with Cannonbolt has always been that, like, sometimes the way he's drawn, you, like, kind of can't see how he could turn into a ball. But, like, this one, I'm kind of seeing the vision here, you know what I mean? And compared to Reload's design, I much prefer this Carrie's Cannonbolt because Rollo's design, it doesn't feel cannibal to me. It feels like a mix of Buzzshock and Spitter, honestly. I'm I'm just not a big fan of it. Also like his like the protrusions he has that turn into the yellow bits when in his ball form. They're a little too like oval shaped. I'm not a big fan of that. It makes it look weird, like how he transformed into a ball. It's a little weird. So I'm preferring Carrie's design here. Heat Blast, peak. I mean, it looks peak in both of them. I think they actually like pretty much use the same Heat Blast design in both of them. It's probably the like Heat Blast, Forearms, Diamond Head. Those are probably the ones that they figured out the designs for like near instantaneously. They were like, boom, here we go. And honestly, I like it. I like how it's kind of an inversion of the original series, where in the original series, his hands were on fire, but like his arms were made of the magma. But instead, his arms are on fire, and his hands are made of the magma rocks. And it's cool, and it looks very like much like a skeleton. And I really like that effect. I might unironically, I think this might be my favorite Heat Blast design now. I really, really like it. Next up is Stinkfly. Stinkfly looks a lot more like the original Stinkfly in Carrie's design, whereas Relo's looks a lot more like the reboot Stinkfly. But Relo's Stinkfly is still more insect-like, which I like. It's the reboot Stinkfly, don't like that. But Relo's Stinkfly, sorry, still has really protruding eyes. He has mandibles. He has 6 limbs. I really like that. But I also do like Carrie's Stinkfly. I'm perfectly fine with this. And finally, Accelerate. Both Carrie's and Relo's, they decided to do a black armor design. Though, it seems that Relo's design, honestly, they're kind of the same. Relo's design has, like, a more wispy kind of helmet. And, like, the wheels are also a little different because on Carrie's, the wheels are more like gears, but on the Relo design, they're kind of like saw blades. I mean, I prefer original Accelerate overall, but I mean, this Accelerate looks cool, and we'll have to see if like this is exactly how he looks, or if he's gonna take off the mask like Accelerate normally does. But so my final thoughts on the designs are: Forearms looks perfect. Honestly, that's Forearms right there. Diamond Head, I hope that he has shorts on. I would have preferred if he had a shirt on too. I still think that Alien Force Diamond Head is my favorite look for Diamond Head. Wildvine, I think I prefer the Relo interpretation. That's probably my favorite Wildvine design of all time. Like even more than the original series. Upgrade's original series design will always kind of be my favorite. Like Omniverse would have been if the Omnitrix was on his chest instead of his eye. But I just feel like this upgrade's a little too bulky, and it sucks because he's my favorite alien, but whatever. It still looks fine. I mean, it's Upgrade. He's good. But honestly, I do really like Relo's design. I like Relo's design more than Carrie's design here. Gray Matter, I prefer Carrie's design. Overflow, I prefer Carrie's design. Stinkfly, I sort of prefer Carrie's design. Same with Cannonbolt. And Heat Blast and Accelerate are basically the same. And I like both of them, with Heat Blast probably coming in to be my favorite Heat Blast design of all time. And I'm just so excited for this. I mean, it's a couple of months away, but for a long time, it was looking like this book was never going to come out, but it's coming out, and it's awesome. It's so fun, and it's just, I'm so in love with this. One last thing is the Omnitrix. That's why I had saved these two things for last. The Omnitrix in these two looks very, like, both wiry, but also, like, kind of symbiote-like, and it's very white. Like, the Omnitrix, from what we can see in Relo and Kinect's design, is that it looks basically like the original Omnitrix, but in this one, they're very much trying to make it look like very, almost eldritch in a way. Like, it looks kind of like something fucking out of, I don't know, like Dark Souls, but it looks really cool. I really like it. I wonder what Azimuth is going to look like. Azimuth obviously is going to have to exist in this new continuity, and I'm really excited about that. Also, one last character design thing I want to talk about is that Ben in all these cover designs, he has a black stripe down the middle like he had normally in the original series. But in the official pages, I don't know if you noticed this, but his stripe is like on the side, like it's to the side. It's not directly in the middle, and it's not like his shirt is like folded or anything. Like, no, it's like on the side. It's like kind of giving like an uneven feel to it. I honestly kind of fuck with it. I kind of do. I'd also kind of prefer the original. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Again, I'm just rambling, but I'm just so excited. I'm so excited for this new Ben 10 series. What are you guys' thoughts? Please tell me them what they are in the comments below. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.